Hi everyone and welcome. This is Angela Palmer from Stamp with Angela and I'm excited to go live with you today. So I'm just checking because I know we had some sound issues last time. Can you let me know if you're able to hear me? That would be great. Hopefully all is good today. Thank you for joining me. I'll look for some comments and see if you can hear me. So, all right. Looking for comments. Can you hear me? Please let me know. So today I'm going to be sharing with you the Sunrise Sailing Bundle. And I'm going to show you a way to include that sun with your card. Excellent. Great, Linda. Sound is great on YouTube. So hopefully it's both on Facebook and YouTube and everyone can hear me. So I appreciate you joining me today. I look forward to coming to you live each Thursday. Not the technical challenges, but glad that everything seems to be working today. So appreciate you being here. Hi, Wendy. Great to have you join us as well. All right. So what I'm going to do today, like I said, is use the Sunrise Sailing Bundle. And today's card has been adapted and inspired from what I did in Coffee and Cards earlier this month. And I've sort of stepped it up a little bit as well. All right, so let me change to my crafting table and we will get started. All right, here we go. So this is the Sunrise Sailing stamp set. So it's a photopolymer stamp set. Just checking that you can still hear me. Yep. And it has got a hybrid embossing folder which coordinates with it, which is probably a little bit hard to see, but you've got the clouds, the boat and the waves, and then the dies that coordinate with it as well. So some of them, one of them is here because I was using it before that we're going to use today. One cuts out the boat, and then we've got extra things like smaller boats, sails, more clouds, seagulls, and then sort of that ripple effect for the water as well. So that is very cool. So what I'm going to do first is show you my Coffee and Cards card, and then we'll go from there. So for Coffee and Cards, we do a note card size, and it's more stamping. I don't take along my cut and emboss machine and things like that. We've got 2 cards to make in 1 hour, and I take the supplies with me. So with this one, I wanted to basically just use the stamps. Now it's called Sunrise Sailing, but there's clouds and water and all that, but there's no actual sun. So we did some masking to add the sun, and then we did a bit of blending. So today's Facebook Live, YouTube Live will include some blending and some masking. So I'm going to show you what this kind of stamp set looks like, or a card looks like, if you use the embossing folder and things. I'm just going to see if I can go a little bit closer so you can see it a little bit better. I think that's good. All right, so in the background you'll see the embossing folder. So we've got the clouds, we've got the boat, but I've then stepped it up here, and then the waves at the bottom. So this is great if you use the embossing folder if you want clouds, but what I wanted to do was add some sun. So I'm going to show you one card that is pretty much just stamping or ink, and then another one where you could step it up and use some of the dies and embossing folder as well, but there are no clouds in sight. So let's have a look. Right, I'm just going to keep an eye on the comments and things. Yay, sound is still good. I see Linda's got this set too, so that's cool. Others like it as well. It's a great card, like for masculine or something, you know, different. You could use it for all occasions, and there are quite a few different sentiments with this set, like congratulations, happy retirement, best wishes, you're destined for great things. So lots of versatility with this. All right, so this is the card. So it's just stamping, and then with the sun there. Now there's two different ways you could do the sun. So I'm going to show you, going to make 2 cards, and I'll show you the 2 ways with both cards. All right, so I'm going to bring out my paper piercing mat, which I've covered with grid paper. I'll just put that to the side so we can kind of see what we're doing. And I'm going to start with a piece of basic white, and I'm going to do my sun first. So I've got a circle punch. Now this particular size may not be current, but something around the 1 inch, 1.5, 1 3/4 inch is a good size. This is 1 3/8. And you can just, adjust. Obviously not ridiculously big or too small, or it won't quite look right. So what you can do is you could use a post-it note if you have those. So there's one side that's a bit sticky. Now, if you were to punch that with this, punches don't punch paper very well. So what I'm actually going to do is put a piece of cardstock behind it and punch through both layers, and then it will punch easily. And I'm trying to punch where the sticky bit is as well. Now I don't need the cardstock piece. We can save that for something else. But now this is punched nicely. So the sticky end I'm actually going to use later. What I actually need is my, what do you call it? My mask, which I have created on another piece of cardstock, which is where we can make another one. Let's do it with the other side of this. Obviously, this is a bit too close to the edge. So we're going to... Okay, so what I'm basically going to do is put this over the corner like so. And I'm going to mask this area with yellow. So you can use what, oh, here it is. It was under the ink pad. I did find it. I had it with the ink pad. Pick it up. There it is. So I'm using one of the ink colors, Daffodil Delight. No, it's not. It's Darling Duckling. But you could use Daffodil Delight, maybe Crushed Curry. It's a deeper yellow, up to you. So let's use the mask I already made. So again, put it there. So we've got that sun, and I'm going to use a blending brush. And just hold it carefully. You don't want it too close, because I'll show you what I mean. If I use one of these, I'm likely to go over that line. So you want to have a bit of distance here so it protects the rest of your card. I'm also going to hold it here and start off in just circular motion, do my circles, and as bright as you'd like. So that is my sun. So I'm actually using a circle punch and masking it with the negative. So that is my sun. Now what I want to do is obviously kind of stamp around it, but I don't want to mask on there. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to stamp my boat so I can kind of see the position of it, and then we'll do the sky and the water and things afterwards. So I'm going to use Secret Sea, which is a color I'm loving. And this is quite a big stamp, so I'm going to do it this way and hopefully not get too much around the edge of the block. And so position-wise, you've got some waves at the bottom. Just trying to decide if I do my waves first and then put my boat on it. Maybe I'll do that. Now, I used a different color. I'm going to come back to that one. Misty Moonlight for the waves. With coffee and cards, there's lots of people. We're passing things around. So I want to use a variety of colors. So I actually did the waves and Misty Moonlight. So let's say about here. Now with this one, you don't notice too much because the sentiment's on it. I basically did the pattern in the same sort of way down. I think it would be better to sort of offset it a little bit so it's not exactly the same the whole way down, if that makes sense. So I'm just going to kind of do that, and then we'll do another one. Now this is Misty Moonlight, and you'll see that I'm using a little stamping spot. No particular reason. Use a big ink pad if you've got one. But I've got the Misty Moonlight and the little one. Oh, I see, I've done those two exactly the same. I should have moved it over, but that's okay. Some of it will be hidden with our sentiment anyway. So now I can see where to put my boat, because I don't want it floating in the sky. But I'm going to just re-ink just to be sure. So sort of put it in those waves, about there in the center, push it down. Beautiful. Then I'm going to do you could leave the boat like that, but I'm going to do the sails inside. Someone said recently, why isn't it on this particular stamp? Well, it's if you want to do it in a different color, you could do a different color, and then it looks really good. I'm just going to go for the same color just for ease. Whoops, could have gone a bit closer. But I'm going to do my boat in cloud cover. Again, I've got a stamping spot for this. The reason being there is no ink pad, no large ink pad in cloud cover because of the issues with it. So I've inked my own using the uninked spots and a, what do you call it, ink refill. You can, if you don't want to do that yourself, there is a set of, I think 5 stamping spots in the range of colours, and one of them includes the cloud cover. You'll see I've also put a spot on the top and the bottom so I know what colour it is, because if you imagine if that was open and this was open, that does look a bit darker, but it's hard to know exactly what colour it is. So that's my little tip. Label your little cases top and bottom too. Okay, so there's our boat. So now what I'm going to do is some blending. So I like to do the water and pool party. You can choose whatever sort of colours you like. So that one looks like pool party. And sort of start off and then go over. Start off lighter, add more if you need it later, but you can't take it away. If you wanted to get really fancy, you could, oh, I've got ink on my hands. You could mask the boat and do that as well. I'm just going to see, I kind of want a little bit there, just so it doesn't look like it's floating. What did I use? Misty Moonlight. So I'm just going to use the edge of my block and just stamp kind of there as well. And I might just do the same on the other side, and then I can ink up to that as well, just so it looks like it's kind of in the water and not floating. And you could have stamped off. You could do some full strength and some a little bit lighter as well. Okay, so that is our sea. Now I'm going to come in and do the sky in Balmy Blue. But I don't want it on my sun. So that's my Balmy Blue one. So this that I punched out earlier, which is my stickier side, I'm going to cover up my sun as best as I can. Now these post-it notes don't stick quite so well. You can see it trying to lift, which is a little bit annoying. I'm going to show you another way that stick. It might be just my post-it notes. So I'm going to kind of start and go down from there. And I'm just doing around my boat. Oops, that was a little bit darker. But I want to do kind of around the sun. It's a nice blue sky and a sunny day. How's that? Is that pretty good? There's quite a bit of blue over here. Let's just sort of hopefully tone that in a bit. Can still see a little bit of white close to it, so I might just try and come in again. Stick it down and go a little bit closer to the edge. Hopefully that's okay. That's pretty good. Okay, so there is my sun. I've got to be careful with my fingers that I don't get ink on them. All right, and then basically stepped up version. Okay, so we have that to go on there like so. Now for my sentiments, I'm just using the best swishes, and I've just got a narrow piece of cover, and my secret C, and stamp that. Obviously with all the waves and things, you can't really put a sentiment there, so I'm just going to put it on top. Scissors. So I'm just going to angle one end and do straight like so. And that will go over here. So my glue, let's find one this one's good. And then my card bases. So nice thin layer around the edge, not too thick. And then put it on Secret C, which is 0.5 centimeter wider. And I like the glue because you can adjust it. Now with this card, I did it on a white base, thick basic white. I'm going to try cloud cover for something different, and you can tell me which one you like. Where are we? So you can do the lines, or remember, if you find that hard, you can do some kind of dots like that. Can you see? Stick it down. All right. Then to finish it off, I'm going to add my sentiment like so with some dimensionals. Oh, I've forgotten something. Have you noticed what I haven't done yet? The sky is a little bit bare. What am I missing? Yes, thank you, Wendy. Seagulls. I hadn't seen your message, but when I looked at the card, I thought, oh, it looks a bit blank. Then I realized seagulls, but that's okay. I can put them in now. So in the set are some seagulls. You can die cut them, but they're a little bit fiddly. Or there are some on a block. So I'm going to do that. So we're going to do one up high, one down here, different angles, and then one sort of in the middle. There we go. That finishes it off. Now my sky isn't so bare. If you wish, if you've got Winker Stella, you can add a bit of this to the waves. I'm just going to squeeze it slightly here because I don't want it to go blobbing onto my project. I have a feeling, oh yeah, I think it's coming out. And then just wipe over, well not wipe over, brush over the waves. And oh yeah, I don't know if you can see the bit of shimmer there. Optional if you wish, but Winker Stella is great. All right, so how is that? Okay, so it actually looks quite different on the cloud cover, don't you think? Secrecy and cloud cover, my favorite colors. Yes, Joanne. Yeah, they are probably my two that I go to in the new in colors. I like them all. But that's what I've had to order more cardstock and things of because I keep using lots of, particularly Secret Sea, but also cloud cover. All right, cool. So what do you like? Do you like the white base or the cloud cover base, or you don't mind? Up to you. All right, so that's the first card. So let me show it a little bit stepped up. See if you can see. I'll put them next to each other and see if you can see what I've done. All right. So this one involves some die cutting and embossing. Okay. So the sun is the same this time. Instead of my boat being flat, it's raised like this. And I've also done this part here, which is raised as well. So I didn't want to I wanted the sea to be like this, but then it was like, well, if I use the whole embossing folder, I'm going to get the clouds. And I didn't want the clouds, so that's why I've done it separately. Okay, so what I've done, let's do, what do we do? We'll do the sea and then we'll have our bits and then we can put it all together. Okay, so what I need is a small piece, I think this, which is the same width. No, that's too wide. We need a piece that's the same width as the card base. And my trimmer. So I've actually done one earlier, but I'll show you what I did. So let's just eyeball this. So about that width. So let's go for like 7 centimeters. And that's going to be our flat bit at the bottom. It might be too big, but we can trim it. Actually, let's go with that one. It's shorter. Okay. So my embossing folder, which I've got here. Actually, before we emboss, we need to cut. So remember those dies I had? There are 2 like this. So you can see I use this one. So basically what I'm going to do is cut that off along the top. So maybe we can quickly do that. Machine up here. You can watch it come out the other side. So put it in. And we need a top plate. Trying to stop it from moving. Okay, here it comes. Patience. Whoops, shaking the table. All right, we'll keep this here because we're going to use our folder or our machine again. All right, so that's what it's like at the top. Then with my folder, I'm going to put it in so we are using the waves at the bottom. But be careful, I can tell you from experience, don't put it right here and have the boat. We don't want the boat. We're going to put it there as low as we can. If anything, we're going to cut a bit off at the bottom. So I'm not worried if it goes slightly over. We just don't want the boat on our waves because that would look a bit funny. All right, so let's do that. And this time, because I'm using a 3D embossing folder, I need my specialty plate. So you'll see that come out too. Isn't my plate well used? You can see I've been using a bit of green and red on it, but it's nice and flat, which is good. All right, move that out the way. All right, so see our waves, isn't that cool? And I'm going to, where's my mat gone? Here it is. Color that again with my pool party. So let's find my pool party brush, which is that one, and the pool party ink, which is here. And we're going to color our work. Now, there is a line at the bottom, but I'm not worried. It's going to be definitely, we're going to cut some more off anyway. Okay. So start off, let's add our color to our waves. You could choose whatever blue you like. Misty Moonlight. I don't know. I'm just trying to have a contrast of blues, but I quite like. The pool party, there we go. So that's our waves. So the other things we need to prepare is our boat. So on a scrap piece of white, we are going to stamp our boat and cut it out. I think, is that going to be wide enough? I don't think so. Oh, yes, it is. Okay. So we are going to stamp that in Secret C. So I'm going to, you can't see, but I'm going to ink it up this way again. I still managed to get some in the corner. It's all right. I will be cutting it out anyway. Then we have to do the same thing with our boat. Add its decorations to the sails. Oh, the camera's above. I can't quite see if I'm lining it up properly or not. Oh, that's pretty good. And our hull of the boat and our cloud cover again. Oh, look at that. Awesome. Now, I'm a bit worried about these being right here because my sleeve is likely to go on them. So I'm just going to grab my chamois and wipe them off so that I don't get ink where I don't want it. And then afterwards, when I've used them, I will use my proper stamping scrub. What's it? Stamping scrub to clean them properly, but that'll keep me going for the moment. All right, then we need the die to cut it out. And I like to use a little bit of, what do you call it? The removable tape, just to hold it in place as I put it through. Now, I did prepare one earlier, but then I keep lifting things up and moving them down. Here it is. So you take that to machine and then cut it out like that and you're ready to go. So now we're going to do our masking again. So we, this time, are going to use the masking sheets. She says, hopefully, if I can find. It was right here next to the ink pads. Yes, and I put my trimmer on top of it. Okay, so this is actually one of the masks that I cut an oval out so you can get a sheet of it. You do have to be careful because they are quite sticky. I'm going to do the same thing that I did before with my punch, and that's put a piece of cardboard behind it just to make it more sturdy and cut more easily. Like I say, I wouldn't recommend cutting paper, which I think that way. So we're going to do that. So I'm making, I wonder if you could get 2 out of this. You might do. All right. So then I'm going to peel off. The only problem with that is the join is right there and I don't have the join on the side. So it makes it harder to peel off. So that was the advantage of doing it in the middle. It's easier to peel. Okay. So I'm trying to peel it off. So next time do it where the join is. I do have one I prepared earlier because I've used it already. But what I recommend you do is on your clothes, trousers, whatever, do this so you get quite a bit of, you can see I've used blue of my trousers before. Get some of the stickiness off, okay? That way it won't stick. It'll come off more easily but still be a bit sticky. So now I need my white piece and we're going to use our negative, where is my yellow again? So there's the yellow ink. Move this out the way so I don't get it. And we need our yellow blending brush, and then we need our yellow template for sponging. If not, we will create it and we'll just use this one here. Okay, so same thing as before. Kind of about that. Make my sun nice and bright. Okay, now this time it's going to be a little bit different. So we're going to have this down the bottom and we're going to have our boat, and we are going to, we can just cover the whole background because we're going to put the boat on top of it so it won't matter. So I'm going to get that mask here. I'm just going to move it to the side so I can see with the camera. Put it over. Now I've made it, oh, let's do this side. I've made it not sticky enough at all. Is that going to work? Yeah, I might have to peel this one off. It's not too sticky now. So don't put it on your clothes too much. Otherwise, it's not going to work. What I'm going to do, because I can't peel it. Okay, that's what happens when you don't put cardstock behind it. It doesn't cut. So that's the lesson. You definitely have to put cardstock behind it. So let me try and rectify this. It's not going to work. Okay, we will endeavour to... Oh, look, it started. Excellent. And then it went back on again. Okay, I'm trying to... I can see it starting. It doesn't matter if one end looks all bent and buckled because that's going to be fine. Okay, so I'm going to put it on my clothes but still make it sticky. Okay, now we'll try again. So put that down. So you want it just on the edge because you don't really want a white, but then you don't want it going over. Then I need my Balmy Blue. Let's close my yellow now. I'm still going to kind of work from here down, and I'm going to start off in case it's quite dark. We'll try not to make it. And I'm just going to cover that whole area. So just subtly around my sun. So this is how you get your sun. You cut out a hole and you colour in the hole, the negative, and then you're going to get a mask or a post-it note, cover up your sun, and then do it like that. Isn't that cool? If you find there's a slight white shadow, you could put it down again and just gently go up to it if you need, but I think that's pretty cool. So it's just a subtle background like so. Then we need to put our card together, but we might need to trim that slightly. And I need to find the boat that I just had. All right, I think I need an assistant to help me find things because I keep putting them and cannot find them. I showed you the boat. So did it fall on the floor? Okay. Here it is. It's sitting on top of, this is where it was. This is why I couldn't see it. It was sitting like that. So it was on the card. Okay. We will again stamp some birds, but we can do that later. So sort of work out where we want our boat, where we want this. So we want it to sort of, the boat to be in the water. So I'm actually going to turn it over. So we're actually cutting off quite a lot. So let me just make sure I'm happy with that. So I didn't need to make this piece quite as big as I did. So it's like sitting in the water, maybe like that. And then I'm just going to measure. So about that, but straight. So bring up my trimmer and cut that off. Because you can always cut a bit off, but if it was too short, you can't add any more on. Line that up, cut that off. Excellent. And in my card, I don't want, you know, too much sea showing as well. All right, so I'm going to glue that down. I might just bring my sky down a little bit lower because it was a bit lower than I thought. All right, I'm going to glue at the bottom, but I'm going to put dimensionals here. But be careful what I put there because my boat needs to tuck in, if that makes sense. So let's get, I'll just use some mini dimensionals. So we'll put one there, one on the other side. We will put one here. Well, actually, we'll do two, but we'll do them lower down so my boat can fit there. And then I'm just going to put some glue at the bottom. I'm just going to have to use my nails. I think I'm going to take your pick tool and it is next door. Much prefer doing that. Now, the other thing I could do, if you have a look, is this bit's kind of in the way. So I'm just going to kind of trim that off like it was meant to be, like that. All right, I'm going to put a bit of glue at the bottom. Can't really see it. Going to try and line it up against the bottom of the card. And then glue that down with the dimensionals. Find my boat, which keeps sailing away. Where did I put it this time? Oh my goodness, here it is. It's upside down. Can you see it? It's not where's Wally, it's where's the boat. All right, so I'm going to put some dimensionals on the back of this. If you don't have minis, you can always cut your big ones in half. Do I have big handy too? Because I might just put, no. So I put a couple of big ones on there, but they're not quite so handy. All right. So I quite like this one because it's a combination of, well, that's probably a bit too many, but there we go. It's a combination of the embossed look and, but it's got a sun in it without the clouds, which I quite like. The clouds are cool because of the texture of that. I love using embossing folders, love the texture of embossing folders, but this is a cool way to have a sun. I really need my take your pick tool because that would be much quicker than doing this. And they're not highlighted, so I can't see if they're taken off or not. All right, so we're going to tuck that in like, whoops, so, whoops, there we go. And then I'm going to stamp my birds around it. And add our sentiment. So let's do one up there, one down there, one on that side, kind of making them different sort of levels. With this one, I'll show you. I haven't done my sentiment. I need that. I felt that these two were kind of on the same level. I should have done one lower, but you won't notice until now because I've told you. All right, our best wishes again. Lots of best wishes here. But you could use a congratulations or a happy retirement or something else. There we go. So I like to put this on. Actually, I might go a little bit closer. And then do my Wink of Stella because there's no point putting it underneath this because then you're, wasting the Wink of Stella. We're going to do the same thing as before. We're going to try it on a cloud cover card base compared to the white, see how that looks. So let's, this one we'll do our thin line around the edge, not too much. A, you want it to last longer, and B, you don't want it oozing out the sides. While that dries for a second, we'll put some dimensionals on this. made my card earlier, and when I turned it over to glue it down again, or no, I glued it on the card front, it went wonky, which is annoying. But if you heat it with the heat tool on the back, it softens the glue and you can eventually lift it up, which is cool. All right, so like that. And I'm going to try the dots this time. That's another way of doing the glue. And onto the card base, which is cloud cover. Where is my Wink of Stella? Here it is. This needs to go on my list because there's not a lot left, so it is hard to see. I need to order another one. So there we go. So is that cool? So if you wanted to for the inside, what I would probably do is I like to coordinate the layers. So because I've got my secret C on that side, I would have a white and a secret C on the inside. And I'd probably stamp a boat and maybe just sort of half off. So like so. Get out that secret C one more time. Sailing along. So near the bottom, so you can put a sentiment, not a sentiment, a greeting. You could leave it just like that, or if you want to, you can, you know, add the sails. Not sure if I'm, there we go. And then add the boat hull. Doing this quickly. There we go. Oh, I've missed a patch in the middle. Let's just line it up again. Good thing with photopolymer, you can see through it. Okay, let's close this up before we get ink where we don't want it, particularly that colour. All right, then we'll put that inside our card and we're all done. Do you like to add layers on the inside of your cards? Let me know. And if you do you just have a white piece, or do you like to sort of add, you know, a coloured border that coordinates with the front of the card? Okay, I'm going to show you all the cards that we made and the variations. Yes, I see some comments about vellum as well. That could look quite interesting, like, you know, the sails as well. And there are some small some small sailboats, dies for those as well. All right, there we go. Let's put our lid on our glue. We're all done. Okay. Let me look at comments and things. I have been sort of looking a little bit as we went through. So someone's nervous about using what? Oh, the wave dies. Something. But they're fine to do. Okay, so remember, we started off with this note card, which is what we did at Coffee and Cards, so just kept it simple with our stamping, masking, our sun. Then we just made a bigger version of that. So we've got one that is the same in white, and then one that we've done on the cloud cover. Then we stepped it up a bit. We've kept our sun, so we masked our sun. And we've got this here with the white base and this with the cloud cover base. And we've added the texture on our waves. We've stamped our boat and lifted that up in the image as well. So we've got our sort of 4 cards here. And then our original one that inspired us from our Coffee and Cards. So there you go. So I hope you liked those. And it's given you some ideas with the boat, the sunrise sailing set. Like I say, the clouds are cool, but I just wanted to add a little bit of brightness, and I liked being able to add the sun to it as well. I'm sure some of you have done masking before, but maybe some of you haven't, so you might like to give that a go. All right, cool. Let's come back to me. Where are we? All right, wonderful. So thank you for joining me today. I appreciate that. I'm glad things seemed to go okay technically. We had sound and everything. Just a reminder that for this month, we've got the in colour promotion. So products that have got in colours in them. So it could be the inks like the, what do you call them, the stamp pads or ink refills or cardstock or two-tone cardstock. Some designer series paper that have got in colours in it. They are on special with 15% off. So if you're keen to get any of those in colours, check them out. Or maybe you've got some, but you think, well, now's a good time to stock up and get some more of those items when they're on special. The washi tape, which is the kind of flowery washi tape with the coordinating die, is back in stock, and that has in colours in it, so it's on special too. So if you've got your eye on that, now's a good time to get it. So if you'd like to order, you can order through my online store or contact me and I can help with your order. All right, so thanks for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed today's cards and learned some things, got inspired, and you've got some new ideas for the Sunrise Sailing Bundle. And if you haven't got it and you'd like it, reach out to me. I can help you with your order. So thanks for watching. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe. Then you'll be kept up to date with other videos and things, or check out my or Facebook page. And if you're not in my newsletter, encourage you to sign up for that too, as then you'll get information about promotions and exclusive tutorials and special things like that. All right, thanks so much. Have a great day. Thank you for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Thanks. Bye. Whoops. I'm trying to, something has popped up on my screen. Let's try again. Thank you. Bye.